Number 10. Soldiers marched into the Australian outback expecting an easy mission. They did not expect their enemy to be birds. Rows of emus moved like an unbreakable wall across the fields. Bullets flew, yet chaos spread instead of order. Machines of war faced creatures that simply refused to act logically. The battlefield felt more absurd than heroic. Farmers watched as military precision fought against sheer unpredictability. Nature did not play by human rules. Every retreat made the situation look even stranger. A national army struggling against flightless animals. Reports described the battle like a serious campaign, yet the image itself felt impossible to believe. The emus scattered, regrouped, and returned as if mocking strategy. No plan seemed to work properly. What should have been a simple operation became a legendary embarrassment. Power met its match in feathers and speed. Later, people debated whether the army truly lost. The story, however, already had a life of its own. In the end, the Emu War makes sense only until you look closely. Then it becomes one of history's strangest confrontations. Number 9. A bright silver balloon drifted lazily across the sky. No one imagined it would trigger a national manhunt. Radars locked onto it like a dangerous intruder. Pilots scrambled, convinced it was something far more sinister. Fighter jets roared upward, tearing the calm air apart. Below, ordinary people kept walking, unaware of the chase. The balloon simply floated, carried by invisible winds, yet governments treated it like a calculated enemy move. Missiles were prepared, fingers hovered over buttons, all for something that could pop with a pin. News outlets turned the slow drift into a gripping drama. Every movement felt tense, even when nothing changed. The balloon became a symbol of fear and suspicion, a harmless object wrapped in paranoia. When it finally fell, the world exhaled in relief, but nothing had truly been threatened. In hindsight, the chase looks almost absurd, a massive response to something so fragile. The great balloon chase shows how belief can turn air into danger. We reacted to what we imagined, not what existed. Number 8. A pig was dragged into a courtroom as if it understood the charges. Judges and lawyers treated it like a human defendant. The animal stood there confused and motionless, yet the legal system spoke in deadly seriousness. Witnesses were called, evidence was described in formal tone. No one questioned the absurdity of the scene. The pig was accused of harming a person. Justice moved forward without hesitation. Ropes, gavels, and strict procedures surrounded the barnyard creature. Authority made the moment feel legitimate. The crowd watched in silence, believing the process was necessary. Tradition outweighed logic. Verdicts were debated with grave expressions, as if the pig could grasp its fate. When judgment came, it felt final and official, despite being aimed at an animal. Centuries later, the trial seems irrational, yet back then it made perfect sense. The pig trial of France shows how belief in rules can override common sense. Reality bends when everyone agrees to play along. Number 7. Former enemies stood shoulder to shoulder behind the same walls. Nazis and Americans briefly pointed their guns in the same direction. A quiet Austrian castle turned into an unlikely battlefield. History paused, then bent in a strange way. Prisoners, soldiers, and allies fought side by side. Survival mattered more than ideology. Bullets echoed through ancient corridors and stone stairways. Flags meant nothing in that moment. One American tank rolled in to help its former enemies. War lines blurred beyond recognition. Men who were taught to hate each other suddenly trusted one another. Necessity rewrote loyalty. The castle held as chaos surrounded it. Unity emerged from pure desperation. When the fighting ended, everyone stood in disbelief. The alliance had actually worked. Looking back, the battle feels like a contradiction. a war within a war, breaking its own rules. The Battle of Castle Itter shows that even in conflict, belief and circumstance can twist reality into something no one expected. Number 6. A tiny island faced the power of an empire. The odds were impossibly one sided from the start. War was declared at exactly 9 a.m. Cannons were already aimed before anyone could react. Zanzibar's palace stood proud under the morning sun. Within minutes, smoke began to rise. British ships fired with cold efficiency. The defenders barely had time to respond. What should have been a long battle vanished in moments. History moved at shocking speed. Flags fell, walls crumbled, and resolve faded. The island's resistance dissolved in the heat. By 9:38 a.m., everything was already decided. A war had begun and ended before lunch. News traveled quickly, framed as a dramatic victory, yet it felt more like a demonstration of power. Looking back, the conflict seems almost unreal, a war too brief to feel like one. The 38-minute Anglo-Zanzibar War shows how belief in authority and force can shape reality in an instant. Number 5. A single flower suddenly became more valuable than a house. People traded petals like pure gold. Markets filled with whispers and excitement. Everyone believed prices would rise forever. Traders gathered in crowded rooms, waving contracts in the air. Hands moved faster than thought. Rare tulip bulbs changed owners in seconds. Paper promises felt heavier than reality. Wealth seemed to bloom overnight like the flowers themselves. Greed disguised itself as opportunity. Then doubt quietly entered the room. A few buyers hesitated where no one had before. Panic spread faster than any rumor. Sellers suddenly outnumbered buyers. Prices felt like cut stumps dropping to the ground. Fortunes vanished in a blink. People realized too late that belief had inflated value. Nothing physical had truly changed. The market collapsed under its own weight of expectation. Tulip Mania shows how faith can create and destroy entire fortunes. Number 4. Warm summer hung over Strasbourg. The air felt strangely heavy. A woman began to dance alone in the street. Her movements looked wild and impossible to control. People whispered that she might be tired or unwell. Still, her body kept moving without pause. Her pace grew more frantic beneath the burning sun. Sweat rolled down her face and clothes. Then others slowly joined her in the square. Their expressions mixed fear with confusion. Soon dozens were dancing together in chaos. Some cried out as their legs trembled. City officials allowed the dancing to continue for days. They believed movement might cure them. Musicians played endlessly throughout the street. The pounding rhythm echoed between buildings. Many dancers eventually collapsed from exhaustion. Several never managed to recover. The true cause remains debated even today. The mystery makes the event deeply unsettling. Number 3. Thick, dark molasses crept silently through Boston Street. Its sticky weight pressed against buildings and fences. People first noticed the strange smell of sugar and decay. Then the wave surged faster than anyone expected. Horses, horses, and carts were caught instantly, trapped in the syrupy flood. Their hooves sank into the dark, glistening mass. Buildings groaned under the pressure of moving molasses. Wooden structures splintered as the sticky tide pushed through. People ran, slipping and sliding uncontrollably on the sweet, heavy street. Screams echoed while neighbors tried to pull each other to safety. Windows shattered under the sudden force. Molasses poured through broken doors, filling basements and alleys. Boats and debris floated awkwardly on the thick surface. Every step forward felt like dragging through liquid cement. Rescuers struggled to save anyone caught in the syrup. Even strong swimmers sank under the dense, gooey flow. The city smelled of sugar for days afterward. Streets were coated in sticky residue for months. The Great Molasses Flood became a surreal disaster. History remembers History remembers it as a sticky, unexpected catastrophe. Number 2. A tall ancient tower rises over the Rhine River. Its stones are cracked and worn, covered with moss and vines. Legend says the tower was cursed long ago. Whispers claim countless mice infest its dark halls. Sailors passing nearby notice eerie squeaks echoing at night. Some swear they see tiny shadows scurrying along the walls. A lone stickman approaches the base, hesitant and wide-eyed. The wooden door creaks ominously as the wind howls. Inside, staircases spiral upward in a dizzying pattern. Every step seems to amplify the sound of scratching and tiny footsteps. Mice appear in swarms around corners, climbing the walls. Their glowing eyes stare at every intruder. The stickman struggles to escape the onslaught. He slips on scattered debris, arms flailing in panic. Outside, the river reflects the full moon softly. Shadows of the power stretch long, flickering with every ripple. Legend says those who enter never leave the same. Fear and curiosity mingle, leaving visitors trembling. The mouse tower stands silent yet alive. Its curse persists, echoing through centuries of folklore. Number 1. A massive whale washed ashore along a quiet Oregon beach. Its enormous body lay bloated and motionless. Authorities debated the best way to remove the carcass. The stench was unbearable and attracted curious onlookers. Engineers and volunteers prepared equipment to dispose of it. Everyone felt tense, unsure if the plan would work. Explosives were placed carefully inside the whale's body. The crowd stepped back, holding their breath in anticipation. A sudden explosion sent chunks of whale flying into the air. Sticky, foul-smelling pieces rained down across the beach. Spectators screamed and ran, trying to dodge the flying debris. Seagulls circled above, confused and squawking. Cars and nearby structures were splattered with whale remnants. The scene became chaotic yet strangely comical. Volunteers and authorities struggled to clean up the mess. Every step was hampered by slippery whale bits on the sand. Despite the disaster, locals laughed nervously at the absurdity. Photographers captured every sticky, chaotic moment. The exploding whale incident became a legendary tale. People still tell the story as one of nature's bizarre spectacles.